One of the things that bothers me, guys, is people using God and the gospel for their own selfish purposes and their own selfish gain. When I see pastors and churches making money off the gospel and excusing it as what's due them because they're ministers, it bothers me. I understand the idea of supporting ministries, guys. We have taken that so far beyond what is biblical and acceptable, to the point that it is, in my opinion, abuse. And you don't have to look anywhere else but Scripture to see what God thinks about His leaders, His appointed leaders, using His flock for their own purposes, their own gain. It's not a job, it's not a vocation, it's a life, it's a ministry. Jesus received support. He did not receive a salary. I think there's a difference between support and salary. I think we're far, far past support. We're into salaries, guys. There's no reason some Christians should make money to do their ministry and others shouldn't. I don't think we should make money. People can support you. Getting a bunch of people in a church and telling them if they give their 10% to you, then they can support your ministry and that's their ministry. No, that is not in Scripture. It is the job of church leaders to raise up ministers. But if a congregation is simply paying ministers and that's their ministry, not in Scripture. Sometimes I think practically, we really don't think God is going to call us to task for these things. But He is, and He will. Scripture says teachers will be judged more harshly or more severely or more strictly. You better watch out if you're making money off of the gospel. And you better make sure that you are not living better than your congregates. And you better make sure that you're not giving them the impression that their support, financial support of your ministry is their ministry. It is not. You sitting in a pew consuming a Christian service product, a Christian Sunday church product, and then putting your 10% in the plate. That's not being a Christian, guys. Being a Christian is being like Christ in the world. Okay, so you as a congregate want to give some money to support your pastor's ministry because you believe in him. Doesn't abdicate your responsibility for your own ministry. You should be spending some of your ministry funds on your own ministry, guys. I personally think get money the hell out of church. You don't need a building. You don't need a budget. You don't need staff. You can do it all without other people paying you. And maybe you should, because maybe then you won't convolute the gospel so much and end up caring more about budgets, buildings, and your bankroll than the ministry. You're going to stand before God one day, and you better be sober-minded now. Both congregates and pastors, you're both going to stand before God, and He's going to ask you what you did with what He gave. And if congregate, all you did was give money and enjoy an entertaining Sunday service, that ain't going to cut it. And pastors, if all you did was take congregates' money, build a big building, make a nice salary, and entertain some people with your sermons, you ain't cutting it either. That's not the gospel. That's not ministry. That's not church. That's not what we're called to be doing. We're called to be reaching out, seeking and saving the lost, drawing people to the beauty of Christ and His salvation. It's a healing message. It's a healing work. We're to be in the world, in the gutter, in the street, with the down and out, the lowly, the hurting, the broken, helping them see the love and light of Christ and experience the love and light of Christ and find healing through the love and light of Christ. Church body, it ain't functioning. And money's a big part of the why. All right. Remember, God is going to call you to account one day. And will you measure up?